Hola estudiantes, hoy vamos a mirar la gramática 9.3 que tiene que ver con la diferencia entre qué y cuál, que son dos palabras interrogativas. Okay, so we'll start with the PowerPoint, and we've already looked at lots of interrogative words and phrases over the course of our studies. Interrogative words are just question words: who, when, what, why, what time, where, etc. Okay? And we've seen plenty of que and cuál or cuáles up until now, and they both can mean what or which, depending, but they're not interchangeable. So que we use to ask for a definition or an explanation. Here are two examples. ¿Qué es el flan? Right, so here we're asking for a definition. What is it? Or ¿qué estudias? Right, here we're asking for an explanation. So you could not say ¿cuál es el flan? Or ¿cuál estudias? Well, you could say ¿cuál es el flan? In certain contexts, but not to ask what it is, right? That would be which is the flan. But you definitely couldn't say ¿cuál estudias? Well, also, I'm sorry, you could say ¿cuál estudias? But again, that's if you were asking amongst various selections, right? Okay. ¿Cuál or cuáles is used when there is more than one possibility to choose from, like I was just saying. So here we have two examples. ¿Cuál de los dos prefieres, el vino o el champán? Or you could say, ¿cuáles son tus medias, las negras o las blancas? Right? And there you have the English translation of those. So notice this one is this cuál is followed by de, and this one is not, and it's followed directly by a verb. That's going to be important. So here we go. ¿Cuál should not be used before a noun? So if it's you won't have ¿cuál and then a noun directly after it. In this case, you use que, right? So look here, ¿qué sorpresa te dieron tus amigos? Right? So this is the noun sorpresa, so you use que. O ¿qué colores te gustan? Right? This is a noun, so you have to use que. So this tells us that que used before a noun has the same meaning as cuál. Okay, so ¿qué regalo te gusta? So in English, you could say what or which gift do you like? Or ¿qué dulces quieren ustedes? What or which sweets do you like? All right, so the only exception to that is when you can use de, which the slide doesn't tell us directly, but if we go back here, ¿cuál de los dos prefieres? Right? This is because there's that de there, it's okay to use que, right? So keep that in mind. And then here we have a review of the interrogative words and phrases in Espanol. So we have a qué hora, a dónde. Notice the accents on all of these, okay? A qué hora, a dónde, cómo, cuál, cuáles, cuándo, cuánto, cuánta, cuántos, cuántas, de dónde, por qué, and quién, quién es. Okay, so we're going to do a few activities today, but they're going to be centered primarily on que and cuál or cuáles. So let's begin. So the first activity we have is this one, elegir. So here the instructions tell us to elige la palabra interrogativa adecuada para completar cada oración. All right, so actually these aren't just going to be que and cuál. There will be other ones, but we'll have to select the one that's the most logical. Okay, so as always, you pause the video when I tell you to, you think about the answer, and then when you're ready, you unpause it and you'll see if your answer is correct. So here we have blank, or here we have three options. So you can say cuáles, cuánto, o qué, and then deportes practicas para relajarte. Pause, and we're back. Here would be que, because the rule tells us that's a noun, deportes. So it can only be que, and it's the only one that makes sense here, right? So in English, this would mean what sports do you practice to relax, or which sports do you practice to relax, okay? So careful there, because a lot of times we want to simplify it and think that que only means what and cuál only means which, but it's not true, okay? So we're going to see that through these activities. All right, número dos. So we can say, ¿quién, dónde, qué es su hija, señor Fernández? ¿La chica rubia o la chica pelirroja? Pause. And we're back. Here would be quién, right? So who? Who is your daughter? Oh, it's the only one that makes sense here, right? Okay. Tres. So we have these three options. Tienes tu primera cita con ese muchacho, Julia. Pause. And we're back. ¿A qué hora? Right? At what time do you have your first date? It's the only one that makes sense here. Cuatro. Supe que te divorciaste, Valeria. Blank tiempo estuviste casada. Pause. And we're back. ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánto tiempo? Tiempo. It's the only one that makes sense here, right? So how long were you married? Cinco. So we have these three options. ¿Van a venir a tu cumpleaños solo tus amigos o también invitaste a tus compañeros de trabajo? Pause. And we're back. Here we would say quiénes, right? So who are coming? Who is coming to your birthday? Okay. Finalmente, número 6. So we have these three options. Te graduaste de ingeniero, Fabián. Pause. And we're back. The only one that makes sense would be cuándo, right? When did you graduate as an engineer, Fabián? Okay, muy bien. Vamos a continuar a la próxima actividad, que se llama preguntas. Okay? So dice las instrucciones: completa cada pregunta con una palabra interrogativa. So this is similar, except for this time we have to come up with the interrogative word ourselves and type it in. Okay? So same format. I'll say pause, and you come back when you think you have an answer. So blank, cualidades buscas en un amigo. Pause. And we're back. So here you'd say que, right? Because this is a noun, cualidades. So what qualities do you look for in a friend? Okay? Dos. Blank es más importante para ti, vivir bien o vivir mucho tiempo. Pause. And we're back. Here I would say cuál, right? Because it's an option. So the options are to live well or to live a long time. So I would say cuál, but you could also say que here. Que es más importante para ti, because you're asking for an explanation. So either work here, okay? Either of them work here. Okay, tres. Blank vas cuando quieres pasarlo bien. Pause. And we're back. Here we'd have to say ¿a dónde? ¿A dónde vas? So where? To where do you go when you want to have a good time, right? So ¿a dónde often goes with the verb ir. So that's a little simple way to remember that. Cuatro. Blank años tienes. Pause. And we're back. Should be fairly comfortable with this one. This is a fixed phrase, right? ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántos años tienes? That's how we ask, how old are you in español? Cinco. Blank es la persona a la que respetas más. Pause. And we're back. I would say quién here, right? Who is the person you respect most? Technically, I think you could say cuál. Like, which is the person that you respect the most? But I think without more context, quién would be the more appropriate answer. Número 6. Blank dinero necesitas para estar contento, contenta. Pause. And we're back. ¿Cuánto? Notice all the accent marks here, okay? All the interrogative words have accents. ¿Cuánto dinero necesitas? How much money do you need to be happy? 7. Blank problemas tienes en la vida. Pause. And we're back. Here we have a couple options. You could say cuántos, right? So how many problems do you have in life? But I think more accurate or more outside of context would be que. Like, what problems do you have in life, right? This is a noun, so we know that it has to be que and not cuál. Okay, finalmente número 8. Blank es tu familia. Pause. And we're back. Here again we have a few options. So you could say de dónde. right? Where's your family from? Or, if you wanted, you could also say como, if you were asking for a description of your family, right? And in theory, you could even say cuál, but we would need more context. That would mean which is your family. So if you could imagine like a room full of families, right? And you say which one of these families is yours, okay? Muy bien. Vamos a hacer una actividad más. And here we're only going to be use que. We can only use que or cuál. So this is good practice to see the pattern, okay? So only que, cuál, o cuáles. The modelo tells us camiseta le vas a comprar a Julia. So the answer would be que. Okay, número uno. Blank estás haciendo ahora. Pause. And we're back. Que, right? You're asking for an explanation. Dos. Blank gafas te gustan más. And we're back. Pause. And we're back. Que, because it's a noun, right? Has to be que. Tres. Blank prefieres el vestido largo o el corto. Pause. And we're back. This is asking for a preference of two things. So, ¿cuál? ¿Cuál prefieres? ¿El vestido largo o el corto? 4. ¿Sabes blank de estos es mi disco favorito? Pause. And we're back. ¿Cuál? Right? So, and the little hint here is the day. You don't have que de. You never have that combination, que de, right? You do have cuál de, all right? So that would be cuál. 5. Blank es un departamento de Hacienda. Pause. And we're back. Here would be que, because you're asking for a definition or an explanation, right? Of this thing. Departamento de Hacienda. 6. Blank trajiste las de chocolate o las de limón. Pause. And we're back. So here we're faced with options, right? So it would be cuáles. This is a verb. It's not a noun, so we don't have to say que. And how do we know that's plural? Because here, las de chocolate or las de limón. So that's telling us that you want to know which of these, right? Meaning more than one. Okay, 7. Blank auto compraste este año. Pause. And we're back. Que. Why? Because auto is a noun. Que always goes in front of a noun. Finalmente, número 8. Blank es la tienda más elegante del centro. Pause. And we're back. Here you're asking cuál, right? Because you're not asking for a definition or explanation. You're asking which one. Muy bien, clase. Muy buen trabajo. Ya terminamos. Hasta luego.